Alright guys, before we begin, just wanted to say this video is a little bit different from our previous ones. This features our weekly webinar held by Jay that we hold live every Sunday on Zoom, and it is exclusive to our group members. This webinar includes analysis on the S&P as well as different tickers that are asked to be charted live in the chat with additional analysis. Our group has now reached over 800 members, so take advantage of our discounted price while we are still relatively small. The link to find out more will be in the description.
California, bienvenidos a California.
So looking at the weekly time frame here on SPY or the S&P 500, we are overextended. Let's not forget that. So if any sell-off still happens or still occurs, just do be aware that we're still overextended. So we still can sell off, quote unquote, until we touch that 9 EMA there, which is at 3579.75, which should be SPY 357.9 or like 358, like right on it, not. So just keep that in mind. We're a bit extended on the weekly time frame. However, the overall trend is up because again, our EMAs are signaling an uptrend signal. Our 9 EMA is spaced away from the 21 spaced away from the 55. So that is our uptrend signal. We did develop a buy signal here on the 1st of June, which just kept going on despite the selling that we did see in previous weeks. That uptrend signal did hold its weight. Now, don't quote me on this. Don't hold me to this. This may sound crazy, but we have a target of SPY at 397. ES is targeting 3971.34. So I may start to revise my targets in the coming weeks, but just know, so long as we can stay above 3587 on ES, which should be about 358.6 on SPY, so long as we can stay above there, we're going to 397. I don't know what news is going to take us there, but this is what the charts are signaling. Now, there are shorter resistance that we are going to look out for on the smaller time frames, but just know our weekly chart is signaling a push to 3971, SPY 397, so long as we hold above 358. Now, let's break this down. Let's go look at the daily. Let's look at what the daily is telling us. So the daily is very, very interesting to me as well, because not only did we hold the uptrend signal despite the sell-offs, which is why I didn't fully flip on bearish mode. This candle right here was very interesting. We had a lot of buyers jump in on a 21 EMA. Whenever you see this hammer happen on a 21 EMA and a bounce like this occur, that lets you know that the buyers are very present and very strong. When you get buying on a 21 EMA level, that is very, very strong. Because again, if this 21 EMA gave up, we could have broken through these levels below here and easily had to have met this 352 EMA level on ES, which is about SPY 352. But buyers said, no, we're not ready for a micro reversal yet. We're coming in heavy, which was why I took my FedEx call, because again, I seen buyers step in here on that 21 EMA, which on FedEx, once we go chart that out, you'll see how buyers were able to step in on its SMA level, which is its overall trend level. So again, buyers stepped in on the S&P 21, and now right now we are able to we're now back above that 9 EMA at 3665.50, which is about SPY 366.30, somewhere around there. We are as well above a Fibonacci level, which is 3668, SPY 366.70, somewhere around there. So that puts our trend up. Overall trend is up. So long as we can hold above 366 and stay above that 366.8 Fibonacci level on ES, we should continue to push up, meeting the next Fibonacci level up top, which is my previous overall target, which you guys see me post about here and there, which is 373. But right now, our daily is signaling 378, 3788.5, which is SPY 378.80. But I think if we go on a 4-hour, we may see that 373 target first before 378. But just looking at the daily and the weekly, they're both signaling some huge moves potentially coming if we can hold above these underlying levels here. So the overall consensus to me, so long as we hold above 366, is bullish. Let's go down to the 4-hour and see what we're looking at the 4-hour. 4-hour is looking very, very interesting for multiple reasonings. So if we go and look right just off the overall chart pattern right now, I can easily just with my naked eye see a falling wedge, and I can easily chart that out for you guys right now. What do I want to chart it out at? Hold on. Perfect. All right, let me get my next one. Falling wedge, easily. This is why I wasn't too bearish on that sell-off. Again, that sell-off just put the whole market into a bigger setup, which you guys also see me tweet about on Friday, saying that 4 hour signaling a falling wedge. This is weird. We did dump, but if you look here, this is our 50 SMA right here. Our 50 SMA was signaling 3639, and we bounced right above that, which was, again, guys, my first buy the dip level on ES, which was around that 364 range. I got that 364 range because, again, it was that SMA level on the 4 hour, which was the overall trend as far as price goes. If we broken under this 363, okay, then it's safe to start getting worried, because now that's the overall trend, as you can see from previous price action. So we could have easily started to dump easily, you know, as trend will have to reverse to the downside. Now, looking at the 4 hour right now on ES, we did gap up, which is nice. However, we need to hold certain levels so this overall setup right here can fully play out as a falling wedge and not break back down to just turn into one big bearish rectangle. And it's just going to keep dumping if we break back into this wedge. So if ES, while it did gap up, can hold above, what's that level, 3676.17, which is about SPY 367.60 once it opens, if we do open at this level. If ES can hold above here, we should see some nice short-term reversal to the upside. Why? Many reasons. It does break out of that falling wedge setup because now you're out of the downtrend. Our EMAs would have signaled a buy signal because, again, this gap up, it's nice, but our EMAs have not triggered a buy signal yet on a smaller time frame. So I think a break above this Fibonacci level should drag this 9 to cross through that 20 or through that 55 and that 21 to now trigger that buy signal, as we've seen in previous actions. Let me see. We can find a buy signal somewhere. Right here. So I'm looking for this. So what we're experiencing is our EMA is trying to curl back up. So I just need that cross to happen. And once that cross happens, as you can see, that's your buy signal. So don't be too surprised with the gap up. We need to hold above that 367.6.17 level on ES in order to continue higher, or we can just easily break back down. But the overall fundamental news, as far as the vaccines and everything, look, they seem to be holding up nicely. So let's see what happens. But again, this is some heavy resistance, so we need to get above this level in order to break out. Now, easiest way to calculate your targets, and the easiest way, why I know if we get above this 367 level, we can easily go right back to the highs, is because I'm calculating my candle as far as where the sell-off happened, what pattern is showing, and what target is projected based off the pattern that's showing. So looking at this right here, we had a nasty sell-off, obviously, which led to a bearish rectangle setup. Now, if you were to come to trade this bearish rectangle setup right here and you came in at this candle, you would have known that another dump would have been at least a majority of this candle, because, again, that would have been your target as far as the dump goes. And look, you got that same candle. So now that we have an overall falling wedge setup, I'm taking my falling wedge based off of these two oversold candles, as you can see. So as you can see, the first candle was able to get bought back up. So the first target, if you were to get back in here based off of this big sell-off, would have been up here on that retracement, which would have been at 366. So now that this first target is taken out, I'm now looking at the second target up here, which was that second candle, or that first sell-off point as far as what created this whole wedge. So if we can hold above this overall downtrend level or this overall resistance level here and break above it, we should retrace this whole red candle just based off of technical analysis and not no, news or anything, just technical analysis, you should retrace this whole candle, or at least 50% of it. But I think it's going to have the whole 4 retrace based off the vaccine news. And now if you go look on the hourly, I think the hourly looks like, yeah, the hourly could be posing another buy signal as well. Now, the reason why I think that 4-hour may make that move to the upside is because our hourly here on futures has now triggered a signal to the upside. As you can see, our EMAs are starting to trigger a buy signal, and price is now gapped up above our SMA. As we know, our SMA is the overall price trend. As you can see, so long as price is above an SMA, overall trend should be up. It'll have some noise, but it should continuously go up. If you break under that SMA, trend will push down. So as you can see, we broke in under the SMA and trend started to push down, but now we're back above that SMA. So overall short-term market trend should be up. But again, you do have a Fibonacci level here posing as hard resistance at that 367 level we talked about. So we need to get above that 367 level on SPY and really hold above it firmly to now give us that push right back up to that 371 and potentially make new highs. But everything so far is looking like it wants to reverse in the short term. We just need buyers to stay present and for sellers to not really show up. And sellers will only show up really if we get any uncertainty news around the stimulus. That's really what the markets are riding on at this point. Vaccine news, not necessarily priced in, but it's priced in to an extent, meaning the vaccine is here. We know it's here. Now all we're waiting on is the stimulus. But let's go look at FedEx real quick before I take on any questions. And I'll show you what I was looking at on FedEx and why I took the trade on FedEx. It's really simple too. It wasn't that complicated for me actually. So when I seen that buyer step in on the 21 EMA there on SPY, buyers also stepped in here on FedEx's overall trend at 286, and that told me, okay, trend is intact, and I think this is the end of FedEx's overall sell-off based off of its rally to the upside, as far as the gap that it needs to fill, and now the overall major trend should be intact. And I did think that this 286 level would hold based off of multiple reasonings. FedEx had multiple upgrades. You had the holiday seasons coming up, which meant good for FedEx, UPS, all your shipping services. And then you had Black Friday, which also meant good for FedEx. And then you also have the vaccines. So, and then you have the analyst upgrades, to throw that in. So all those were my bullish factors on FedEx. But again, it just kept selling off. And I didn't really know why it was selling off, but I knew to catch the bottom and to make sure I was there for when I felt the bottom was near. And I think the bottom is near. As you can see, this is another potential falling wedge setting up. With the market gapping up like it did, I do expect FedEx to gap up above 293 if it really wants to. But I do see the falling wedge set up here present on FedEx on a 4-hour, and I do expect some more upside to it. The same thing what happened with BA. Let's just look at the daily on FedEx too real quick. Yeah, so I think if FedEx gets right back above 292 and breaks above that 293.30 Fibonacci level, we're going right back up to that 305 level. And then at that point, it'll make sense for FedEx to channel around this 305 level, because I'm expecting a 5.35% move or a $16.31 move on ER. Oscar, these are automatic Fibonacci levels. Delani, I'll take your question again. I'm gonna need you to go more in depth with that. But again, so FedEx, I just needed above 292.16 and above 293.30 Fibonacci level, and we should see that high go again. At 305, I expected to channel there because at ER, that's where I expect that 5% move to hit it, to give it that 320, 325 price target that I have on it, which again will be that $16.31 move that Zach's had estimated them last ER. I think they're gonna do that same estimate this ER. Oh, so it's analyst upgrades. You have your holiday seasons. So people are buying obviously online. You have Black Friday, obviously, and then you have your vaccines that Pfizer is rolling out with DHL, FedEx, and UPS. So those were all my bullish case factors as far as FedEx should be pushing up. It's just as far as catching the bottom on it. Same thing with BA. I really do like BA because, again, looking at the daily, BA was looking amazing. It's flagging here on a daily, as you can see from what I've drawn out recently. And my takeaway on BA is so long as it can hold above that 229 level, which I had for it, as far as the sell off when it was selling off, I really wanted it at that 229 level. And I think somebody alerted me that, hey, BA is at that sell off level. What are you going to do? Or is at that level you alerted? What are you going to do? And that's when I analyzed it and was like, okay, it looks ready. Because once it came down here, I seen the screen camera. I was like, oh yeah, it looks ready. Then it came right back down, held again. So I do think BA is in another bull flag on the bigger time frames and on the smaller time frames, could be setting up in a breakout of a falling wedge. There was some news that BA signed a 10-year agreement deal or some shit, which I think is bullish as well. Another factor that can pose a bullish case for BA is towards New Year's. I expect people to be traveling more as far as New Year's go. And then with the whole vaccine and everything, I don't expect, you know, any other type of crazy pandemic news to really hit as far as like there's more infections, because now the news is the vaccine's out. Are you going to get it or not? We see the repercussions. Do you care about the repercussions? If you don't get it, you're not going to get the COVID if you get it. But me personally, I don't think I'm gonna get vaccinated after seeing those 4 people. But I do think BA is ready to go. My reasoning is also these levels in the hundreds was investor territory. And I didn't think that we're going to dump BA under that 140, 130 level, because again, that was now dipping into investors' money. And at that point, that would have been too much of a risk factor for big money as far as them and with their BA positions, because Boeing is a staple piece. It's one of your staple pieces that they will never ever let die, because again, they're the biggest manufacturers for your planes. But I see more upside on Boeing. Personally, I see Boeing back in that 300 range, in my opinion, my honest opinion. Um, and I say that because if we go on a daily, there's a Fibonacci level right at, what is that, 231, and then you have another one above there at, I gotta go far back, fuck that. So 231 fib, and then you had 245, 231, 245, 252, yeah. It has some ways to go up, but I think it's on its way there to go up. First target I do have on BA is 250, because I think first Fibonacci it has to hit. If it breaks above 231, it has to go to 245 and then 252. So I have a conservative target of 250 on BA. Again, the whole setup is correlating with SPY, and the same thing with FedEx. So that I'm using SPY and ES per se to monitor these trades. So that's why I wasn't too worried about the selling that was going on with FedEx and BA, because again, I was monitoring SPY, making sure for overall levels to hold, and they held. So I expected these two to eventually catch up and run with the meat news. But yeah, do I have any questions? Now it's question time. Any questions? No questions, guys? Any trades you're looking at? Any charts you really want me to go over real quick? All right, I'm going to quickly chart Microsoft and HD. I mean, what are you guys looking at that before you have me charted? What are you guys looking at Microsoft for? What's your expectation on this before I give you what I'm looking at? You guys have mics. You can feel free to talk. You don't have to mute yourself too. I'll check out Baba too. So Baba, Microsoft, and HD. Microsoft looks very interesting. I tried this trade once with you guys, and I just got impatient with it because, again, it was just range bounding like this. But let's look on the smaller time frames. Oops. Smaller time frames. Microsoft is setting up in a falling wedge. It's a nasty falling wedge, but I mean, charts don't lie. So let's see. It's a nasty one on Microsoft. Ugh, that's nasty. That's nasty. I mean, you can call it a double bottom as well too, but it's trying to wedge here. Let me see. I'm gonna try the wolf wave on Microsoft right now because I personally, it's too choppy for me to do anything on a smaller time frame. So it would just revert. I would have to go on a bigger time frame to look at bigger levels for this because the smaller time frames, I'm just not seeing anything to my liking. The bigger time frames, I'm kind of seeing something. Might have to go even bigger. I mean, if we're looking at the EMA, so long as Microsoft can stay above, 213, it should break out. But I mean, looking at the previous price actions, it's tried to break out before and it's been rejected every single time. So clearly there's something going on here. All right, I'm gonna try something. This might look sloppy to you guys, but just bear with me. I'm trying to do the wolf wave real quick. For let me see. Yeah, I don't think Microsoft would break under its SMA. So based off what I just did here, I just performed a wolf wave on Microsoft very quickly. So this is wave 1 to the upside, point 1, point 2 to the downside, point 3, wave 3 tried to go to the upside. And now we had wave 4 trying to play itself out to the downside, but as we can see, it looks like it's caught itself here on the SMA here at 209. So if we can hold above 209, I don't think wave 4 to the downside will fully play intact and should disrupt and now perform wave 5, as you guys can see here, which is supposed to happen around here, should perform wave 5 and push up to the upside. So I think the wave 4 that it tried to do to the downside is fully bottomed out and now trying to make wave 5 to the upside. But I mean, looking at the EMAs again, if you can hold above that 213 level, there should be some news or something, but Microsoft will be a tricky one. I'm gonna look at HD now. I'm only looking at the first ones that I got. So I think it was HD, Baba, Microsoft. So, and then I think I'm gonna look at AMD lastly. But Jack could cover the rest that you guys are looking at because I am on a pretty tight time schedule. HD. What are you looking at for this trade for HD? Because if I'm looking at this right now on a daily, it doesn't look too good. It needs to get above certain levels. I do see buyers stepping in here at the Fibonacci level, but let's see what's happening on a weekly. Let's see what's going on. Interesting. Is there anything on a monthly that's going on? Okay, I like this. I like this. I like this. I like this. All right, so it looks like it's just selling off from its rally that it previously made, and now it's fully bottomed out on the month. Okay. So looking at the daily now, I can kind of see a falling wedge on Microsoft here or on HD from here. Let me see if I can try that out. Yeah, it's kind of wedging here. Let me see how I'm gonna connect that. Yeah, I'll probably do it like that. I just don't know why it sold off like this. You would personally, I wouldn't take an HD trade until it can get above an SMA on the daily, because right now it's broken its SMA level, which is its overall trend, as you can see here. That SMA level is at 270. So don't take any trades on HD personally until it can break above 270, because then at that point, the overall trend will be back up, and it'll pull the line right back up above that 21. But as for right now, it's looking like it may sell off again. This could be a nasty bear flag that can play out. But unless there's some news that caused this could just be technical, a technical gap fill. But again, I wouldn't take any trades until it's above 270. That's the overall trend on the daily time frame, and it's stronger again the bigger the time frame. AMD. I think I tried this one out for you guys, and it's still here. Yeah, this is the beauty that's gonna go ballistic, and we are gonna be there to capture it, capture everything on it. You go along on AMD above 91.53. Use a stop loss of 88. You go along with about 3 weeks out. Don't play with any strike targets above 110, because at that point you're just gonna lose money. Overall bull flag I see on HD. Show me what time frame, Elias, and I'll go check that out. But AMD, as you can see here, I did perform the wolf wedge on AMD. We had wave 1 to the upside, wave 2 to the downside, and now wave 3 is trying to play out, as you can see in this candle here. Wave 3 is trying to play out, which I think will be its breakout wave that will send it high. So go long above 91.53 with a stop loss of 88. Your first target that you're gonna get, that you're gonna stumble upon on AMD, will be at, I think, that 93 level. Let me check the daily. The daily is much more cleaner.
Oh shit, let's go. I just joined just in time.
So first target should be at, yeah, around 93.54 would be your first target. Again, I got my first target based off the massive sell-off on this candle. So we would have to retrace this first candle here. And this is where it started. So 93.50 around there would be my first target on AMD to, after I enter my long at 91.53. Again, that will be the continuation of wave 3 to the upside. Now, a break above that 93 target, I do believe will send AMD to that daily Fibonacci level, as you can see, which is at 96.37, which is my overall major target on AMD as far as the first upside target goes. So after we go long on at 91.53 and see 93.50, we should get a nice breakout to 96.37. A pullback after 96.37 is what I'm anticipating, because again, we do know AMD likes to give up its run sometimes. So I do believe that the run it should give up should be to its previous breakout level, which was at that 93.50 level. It may stop at 94, but if it does want to, act extra, go back to that 93.50 level that we had previously broken out from. And then I think at that level, we should then find buyers, because again, it found buyers last time, and then boom, go right back to retest 96.37 and then break out of there to now make that crazy push to 102 first target. Second target would be 105.73. Lastly, 110.34. That's my breakdown on AMD as far as what I do see on it. I think it's going to make crazy new highs. The call flow on it was they've been buying the 110 calls right out the ass. They've been buying the 95 calls right out the ass. The fundamental analysis on AMD is pristine. I think they sold out of all the processors that they put out or something like that. I mean, I'm not a tech guy like that. Like, I don't really know too much.
AMD is gonna be the one to put Intel in a fucking coffin. That's
I
my
believe that. I do believe that, because I think AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA, I think 2 years ago had a race with their CPU chips or something like that. And I think AMD won and Intel came last, I believe, and NVIDIA came second or something like that.
the 100 strikes on AMD for Feb 19 looks really nice.
Yeah, if we look at the call flow is pretty amazing. I do expect the call flow to still be good, but again, like, they were literally slapping the ass. Like,
This doesn't pertain but till next year, but INTC, don't lose track of them. They're working on superconductors for CPUs for next year. So zero, like think of it like zero gravity um, how would you put it, for supercomputers, for quantum computing.
Makes sense. I know exactly what you're talking about as far as the supercomputers go.
Yeah.
That's big.
So they're making computers on crack.
Because at that point, isn't there government contracts included with that? Because government uses the supercomputers at that point, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they have DoD contracts for that through the Pentagon.
Oh, that's big. That's big.
And they're moving their factories over from Taiwan because of ITAR, so International Trade Agreement regulations. So that's happening next year.
Wow. All right, I'm gonna keep my eyes on that for sure. For sure.
But
Oh.
I don't have any hopes on Intel anymore, considering the M1, which is introduced by Apple. Every major processor makers will try to implement those. The government contracts can be good, but the large scale, basically the sale happens or the more profit happens on the consumer goods. That's what I feel.
Yeah. I mean,
I would argue that
I get,
government
I get what he's saying.
pays more.
I get what
Yeah.
he's saying. Because I mean, government does pay. Like they'll literally pay whatever. But I think he's talking about the longevity of it. But then again, you do have to remember, like with government contracts, you do have longevity in government contracts as well. So, and the government contract, in my opinion, like if I'm looking at this from an investor standpoint, I would be way more comfortable with a company that has a government contract rather than a company that has like a much more public contract. I think that's something that Planeteer is actually trying to do, is step away from the government, if I'm correct, and then go more towards the consumers, which should be good for them in my opinion, but again, the fact that they still had that government, backing and that government, foundation to them really made them that staple piece of a stock, in my opinion.
Also, like, government contracts, they literally fucking love to overpay for everything.
That is true.
Yeah, the Air Force spent like what, $1,000 on a fucking cup of coffee.
About NTC, they have so many outstanding shares, 4.9 billion to be exact. So you won't. Okay, true, Christian, true. So their flow is heavy. Their flow is very heavy. So if that's the case, then there would have to be bullish news or crazy flow as far as any type of major gap ups to happen, because then at that point you need to buy up a good amount of shares. So you would need institutions taking positions. But again, Christian, it would make sense for that float to get bought up fast if you get a government contract, because with a government contract, in my opinion, you're gonna have to get your institutions and whatnot to be buying up. Makes sense. So they're gonna have to start buying by the millions at that point. Intel is just not getting it right. Just general coming up with. Yeah, this is my trading view chart. This is my trading view chart. But I gave you guys AMD, HD, Microsoft. We looked at SPY, looked at FedEx, looked at BA. I'm gonna have Jack cover whatever I missed, but I'm gonna have to cut it short here. Any quick questions before I do cut it off? I have a friend, mechanical engineering, working on one of these projects.
I have a question. When you look at option flow,
Yeah.
what exactly? I know we're looking at the market sentiment. What is I see people mention golden sweep and
Golden sweeps.
yeah, like what exactly are we getting off of that?
So a golden sweep is like you're looking at it as like a big type of trade based, like, to sum it up, a golden sweep is this trader knows exactly what the fuck is about to happen in the market, and he or she is trying to get ahead of everybody. They know something is up. So whenever you see a golden sweep, you always want to trade carefully depending on whichever side it comes in for. So like, let's say the market's going up, right? Market's going up, then boom, you see a golden sweep come in for SPY, and then another golden sweep or something like that, or you just see one golden sweep. Now at that point, you need to trade cautiously, because that golden sweep just told you that, okay, this trader here or this institution here knows that there may be some type of news coming or something coming that is going to cause SPY to pull back hard. from this rally that it's doing. Or if you know, if you see SPY selling off and then you get a golden sweep in calls, then you know, okay, I need to monitor these puts and not go too heavy in puts, because at any point in time the markets can start to reverse, as this golden sweep player is seeing something that we don't see. Make sense? So you don't want to act like instantly on it, but rather time it and monitor it as the days go on. Monitor it with the market. So monitor where they bought it in at what price did that golden sweep come in, because the price point tells a lot. Normally they like to buy at major support levels on the daily and a monthly. So you monitor at what level the sweep came in at, and then you use that level as, say, if price is under it, a resistance level to break out of, to, you know, put markets into like an uptrend signal or something like that. Or if it's above it, use that as a support level, meaning, okay, if we break under here, that trader now is going to lose on his position, so he better be right as far as what he's expecting, or the market is really going to just shit itself in a sense.
Yo, yeah. What about the credit spread for the FedEx? Like, what area would you get in at?
So FedEx, that's a good question. If we go look at how FedEx has been doing, one thing I do like about FedEx, and the way I do like to take the spreads on FedEx, well, with all my spreads, I like to really look at how the stock has played out in the past. And with FedEx, we know we've been trading FedEx for a while, so we really know where it's been building a lot of its support levels at. So right off the bat, we can easily look at FedEx right now and say, I can go easily start selling puts at 275, because again, that level was a real interesting level where FedEx kept meeting itself and going up and then going under and then, you know, coming back. So if we go look at that 275 level, where is it at? Just around there. As we can see, buyers were present at that level every single time. So I would know this would be a no-brainer type of level to go sell puts on if I really wanted to. Now, if you also wanted to add in extra support, you can also, somebody want to add something?
No, I was saying also, as you can see, that 275 is below your 21 EMA, which on the daily time frame, like most stocks, like love to respect. Yeah, so that's like a kind of a confirmation, as like, you know, if it holds up, like, okay, yeah, this shit's about to pop off.
And then on top of that, and confirmation as far as the trade should be good in your favor is, now that you're in that 275 and you're selling those puts, not only will FedEx have to break under that 21, which is that overall daily EMA, but now you have to break under Fibonacci levels to get to that 275. And again, this is a daily time frame, so it's not going to happen in one day. It's going to take some time to do that. But again, if you have a weekly, or if you're just looking for that 40 to 50%, you should be in and out by then.
Yo, I'm so freaking ready for next week, because Boeing and FedEx, they're both about to pump.
Yeah, they're about to go off.
Right?
Yes, sir. But I'm gonna let Jack,
Boeing, I think.
And then I'm gonna cut it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on a pretty tight time schedule. But I'll see
Appreciate
you guys.
it, bro. Thank you.
Back soon. Thank you guys for showing up, though.
Yo, Jay, update your freaking Chrome.
All right, I'll update my whole computer. All right, man, y'all. Take care.
All right. Appreciate it, Jay.
Mm-hmm.